It's been 4 months since the last story update for Duet Night Abyss. After patch 1.1's abrupt story ending, 1.2 was a filler patch with no story content whatsoever. But even then, there were some oddities in 1.2, such as how Jilliu was seemingly at her old spot without a care in the world. Now with 1.3, the story has continued. And for now, it is the conclusion of the Huaxu chapter for the story. 1.3 story is pretty good, but where it excels is its character writing. Jilliu has a ton of characterization, while Keijo, Yuming, and Suyi aren't far behind. The presentation has leveled up too, but there's this air of cheapness to it, which is expected, but I appreciate the effort nonetheless. There's a lot to cover, but before I continue, greetings, I'm Seraphlor. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing. And if you're not new, welcome back. Let's cover Duet Night Abyss patch 1.3 story update. The story picks up with us with Jilliu in an unknown location, divorced from reality. Apparently, she's the one who knocked us out at the end of 1.1. And here we learn bits of her plan before she places an enchantment on us, one that makes us forget what happened with Juyin and her. This explains why Jilliu was out and about in the overworld. Anyway, Jilliu takes us to Haojing, which on paper, it's just to participate in the Grand Incense Rite, but in actuality, the next stages of her plan take place here. Throughout the story, our memories eventually loosen up, and we learn that Jilliu divined 3 prophecies. The first was that the Fox Hunter would ascend high above to challenge the sovereign of Huaxu, Taihao, and live to tell the tale. This came to pass by the time we remembered parts of Jilliu's intentions, as earlier, the Fox Hunter and Snow came across a wanted poster for Keijo, and learned that he is to go under a trial by disputation. However, with the state of Huaxu, the trial would be no more than a sham, and he'd die on the spot. The Fox Hunter goes to rescue him, feeling like he has answers as to why they've been feeling off, and to return their debts. Keijo questions the state of Huaxu to Taihao, and after not receiving the answers he's been wanting, attacks. The Fox Hunter steps in to save him, using their powers of resonance to drive Taihao back. And as they and Keijo ready to face the magistrates of Yingtian, Snow discovers a piece that fell from Taihao and keeps it with her. This part of the story was pretty awesome, and the events leading up to this characterizes Keijo a lot. We also see the protagonists using their resonance once more, a mysterious power that we learn more about in this patch. The Fox Hunter recalls the second prophecy after the Outer Peaks is attacked by the magistrates of Yingtian, and it is through this flashback we will learn the attack was foretold in Jilliu's divinations, and that the Fox Hunter would be the one to lure them there. With the magistrates all in one area, this leaves Jilliu a chance to make her own move. The Outer Peaks section of the story is a mixed bag. On one hand, we get introduced to the people outside of the 9 chapters system and Suyi. Suyi is the great aunt to Keijo, and she's already proving to be a very popular character. Me personally, she's not my favorite, but I do like how witty and charming she is. During the magistrate attack, we also learn more about the relationship between Keijo and Yuming. We learn that a close friend of theirs became a deteriorator and transformed into a filthoid while both were gone. By the time Keijo returned, Yuming had already cut her down, and this decision influenced him into becoming a magistrate. The 9 chapters not only protect public order in Huaxu, but also transforms deteriorators into Bian immediately. And without the 9 chapters protection, their friends suffered and transformed. The part that received mixed reactions was the long puzzle segment in the Outer Peaks. We're in the middle of a war between the magistrates and the drifters, and all of a sudden we've dragged away to spend time doing puzzles. Sure, this is the only major part of the story riddled with time wasters like puzzles, but I feel like the story leading up to this was sloppy at best. At least Suyi is there, and she can solve the puzzles for you if you're stuck. After solving these puzzles, the Fox Hunter obtains the key to a weapon known as the Heaven Rock Cannon, as well as the second half of the Jade of Equilibrium. As I said, this section can lead to mixed feelings. I feel like if our jump to puzzle solving wasn't in the middle of an urgent defense battle, I would like this section a lot more. Let's go over the third prophecy. In an attempt to get ahead of Jiliu, the Fox Hunter and company head to Kejo's old hometown to speak with an old hermit, who is able to help the Fox Hunter. But first, she shares Jiliu's experience as a child in order to understand what her goals are. The writers once again get to flex their character writing as we experience Jiliu's backstory on how there was a cave-in, yet no one came to help the people trapped inside. It wasn't until the mad captive, unable to handle the hunger and anxiety, attempts to kill Jiliu and cannibalize her. But fortunately, or unfortunately, she was saved by a certain man. It wasn't the man who tried to kill her, but the man who saved her life that attracted the attention of the magistrates of Yingtian. They cleared the cave-in and punished her savior where he stood. It's a dark backstory, not one that I expected, but I should have known better if 1.0 was anything to go by. It is also here we learned that the man who was punished saving Jiliu was none other than Kejo's father. Kejo himself never blamed Jiliu nor hated his father, and was instead proud of him. It's an interesting dynamic, and I like how this incident ties the two together and gives Kejo more motivation to stop her. This scene also shows us how twisted the 9 chapters had become. Without balance, Taihao's control over the 9 chapters has become authoritarian and absolute, to the point where people have become complacent, fully glad to give up their autonomy to the 9 chapters. Here we have Jiliu's goal spelled out to us: force change by slaying Taihao and destroying the 9 chapters with Juyin, and breaking Huaxu free. The hermit helps Fox Hunter regain their memories, and learn of Jiliu's third prophecy. She and Juyin will face Taihao, devour it, and then have the Fox Hunter come in and kill her. We switch POVs to Jiliu, who ascends Taishu Mausoleum. This part was pretty cool, not gonna lie. I like how the forebears tried to stop her, and how one of them believed they could persuade Jiliu by having her join them. Also, the music here goes hard. This breach of the mausoleum is why the magistrates and beyond retreated from the outer peaks, and even they weren't enough to stop her from reaching Taihao. With the battle starting, the 9 chapters are essentially defunct, and chaos is running rampant in the city. Suyi offers the people a choice to fight, and while some resist at first, some do stand and fight alongside the drifters. A great coming together moment. We'll skip ahead to the finale, but up to the finale wasn't great. I don't like how Kejo and Yuning's final confrontation was off screen for one, and I have to say I didn't like playing Suyi. She has been patched quite a bit, so maybe she isn't as ass to play, but I'll find out on my own when I do theater. The scenes leading up to the final confrontation with Juyin and Taihao were fantastic though. The Fox Hunter uses their power of resonance to separate the bond between Jiliu and Juyin in order to save her life, and takes matters into their own hands by confronting both dragons to subdue and set the 9 chapters right. This should have been epic, but the actual battle was so garbage it was almost comical. We barely get hits in before the battle ends and we're treated to a cutscene, with the Fox Hunter using the Jade of Equilibrium at the end. What a letdown. A big blemish on an otherwise enjoyable ride. After rousing the memories of Juyin and Taihao, the 9 chapters were reformed. I like the end of the scene here, where Jiliu is clearly frustrated and upset that not only she lost, she was blind to the third option, balance. The story ends with us taking a walk with Jiliu to the gravestone of Kejo's father. The player can choose to forgive Jiliu for her actions or not. Whatever choice the player makes, this marks the end of the Huaxu arc for now. There's still some mysteries. We don't know where Fushu went for one, but maybe they'll be answered sooner rather than later. There are other issues with the story too. Snow really sucks as a character. She's not resourceful or helpful, she's just a parrot with childish sass, regurgitating information we already know. If she's going to be a presence in the story moving forward, she needs to do something. I thought her glitching out towards the beginning of the story meant she was replaced by a mecha puppet, and that would have been a crazy reveal. But no, she was under the same spell as us, and the plot was dropped. Overall, the story was pretty solid. It's nothing incredible, but it was told very well and had a strong cast of characters that made up for its flaws. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later.